We back up in this thing. You can't roll with us if your last name don't got no loyalty. Podcast party poppin', but you already knew. I've been rolling with these folks. This that Monday night crew. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you.
Yo, what's happening, man? Welcome back to another episode of Monday Night Crew. It's your boy K. Mims, the only spot you get authenticity and entertainment at the same time. We have the ladies of the show, Miss Princess, Miss Asia, Miss Brittany. What's happening?
Hey,
my bro, Louis B. What's happening, man?
What's going on?
Hey, I don't know about what Louis hat and shirt say. You know what I'm saying? It's UNC till we die around here. And want to be real specific on this Monday. Tar Heels. But anyway, man, make sure you take a second, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to make sure you're getting all content coming to the page, whether it be Monday Night Crew, Last Name Loyalty, The Kickback by MVW, or Traffic Jam. DC, May 17th, the podcast party, the first stop of the tour. We're going live. Tickets are active now. We got a special sale coming up here soon, but tap in. How's everybody feeling, man? How's everybody night going? How's everybody living?
Good. Asia turn.
I'm turned, but I'm tired.
It'd be like that.
But I'm here.
So I got a question for y'all before we get started into the social news. And nobody knew this, but I got a question because I heard this comment. Is it true that women hold the men up to a certain standard visually, like how he grooms himself, you know, how he looks, because of how much money they put into themselves? So the conversation I heard that somebody was having was like, damn, like you got to have your hair cut because all this money I put into my nails, into my feet, into my lashes, like the least you could do is have your hair cut and be groomed up. Is that true? Does that have any truth to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're not about to walk around with no scrub, and I look a certain way, so I just feel like you uphold that person to the same expectation.
The least you could do is pay for that $40 haircut.
You know what's so funny? My rebuttal with Asia. First of all, what's your thoughts on that, Asia?
Yeah, I think it's like it's not because of how much money I'm spending on myself, but it's the fact that I'm putting effort into what I look like. So it's for me, it's not about the money part because like I'm a DIY girly, right? So like I could retwist my own hair, but if you like to Princess' point, you couldn't even go get a haircut, you couldn't even get a shape up, even if you didn't have the whole haircut. It's like it's more about you gotta look presentable.
You can cut your own hair. You know
what's just so funny? My rebuttal was I thought women do that stuff for themselves and nobody else.
I do it for myself, but if I do it for myself, you need to be doing it for yourself, because when we step out together, we represent each other, and you need to match. If I'm looking good, you need to look good. If I look good, you can't be walking behind me scruffy.
Yeah. And to a point, like Keenan, I don't know if you know this, but if like as women, right, if we see a man looking like a scrub and he's with his woman, the first thing a lot of us say is, did she really just let him walk out the house like that with his ashy knuckles, with his white tube socks on? Like that's sagging. Like we look at the woman like no funny.
So what's the rule for when we are groomed properly and y'all are having a in-between phase? What's the rules on that?
Say something if you got an issue with it. That's on you. Okay.
You kind of match each other. I mean, everybody has an off day, right? Like not every single day you're gonna look a certain way. But if you feel like your lady has gone months, weeks, however, whatever your threshold is, you should communicate that, because what's going on with her that she doesn't feel the need to upkeep herself.
Right. If toes is crusty.
This is so interesting. Louis, what's your thoughts, bro? I'm sorry, Princess. Go ahead. I didn't hear. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said if toes is crusty, especially if it's the summertime and you can see her feet and other people can see her feet, then I'm sure you probably want to address that.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Lewis, what's your thoughts, brother?
I agree with both parties being an extension of one another. So I believe in that. I do believe in that. I think to Aza's point, I really like what she said. It's more so about the effort you put into your presentation. So I'm with that 100%. I was just, getting the nails together. So you know what I mean? I'm all about that.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro. I don't disagree with it. I just thought it was funny that like how much, because the conversations was specifically about how much one spends to keep themselves up is why they feel like that person needs to do that because I spend this much on me.
Yeah, I think the value what you get out of it, like our haircuts cost maybe 2 to 3 haircuts cost one setting for them to get their hair done. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, so it's like the maintenance requirements are a little bit less. We talked about chemical pills and all that. Shout out to Asia. We talked about
right now. Got one right now.
Yeah, so it's like I feel like it does cost more for women to maintain it, but I do think for men we should have some type of routine, even skincare routine. Like I think it's important to have that too.
Okay, you learn something new every day. I don't disagree. That's what's up. I didn't like because of how much I spend, then you should. But I agree with the extension. The extension. It was just a conversation though. It really came from, I can't remember what if it was on TikTok or IG, but the conversation was like the words were said because of how much I put into me, the least you can do is. So I disagree with the money aspect, but I agree with the extension, looking clean, looking groomed. Like I agree with that part. I just think how much you decide to spend on you.
I think the money part comes in just because I would say, I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people aren't like DIY, people aren't doing their own pedicures and manicures. People aren't doing their own waxes. People aren't doing their own hair. Yeah, so it's like, that's why I feel like it's the money aspect. And I feel like a lot of men also don't cut their own hair.
Nah.
That's true.
So, it's just the fact when it comes to like what I'm actually paying for to upkeep, to keep myself up, I spend a lot more than what a man would.
Agree. All right, dope. Let's get into it. All right, man. So all our Raleigh fans, everybody hip hop fans, Dreamville dropped their lineup today. I'm gonna put it on the screen, man. Y'all tell me y'all initial thoughts when y'all saw it, man. So he has Lil Wayne, the Hot Boys, Big Timers, 21 Savage, Party Next Door, Ludacris, Ari Lennox, which I'm happy she's still up there, Chief Keef, Keisha Cole. I don't know some of them young dudes, I ain't gonna lie. J. Cole, Erykah Badu, Tim's, Gorilla, JD, JID, Wale, Coco Jones, Earth. I ain't gonna lie, all the Earth Gang and Big Plug X, I know they good, but I don't get into all that. What's y'all thoughts when y'all saw the lineup?
I'll volunteer to go last.
What's y'all thoughts? I'm just happy that Cole, I feel like Cole represents where millennials are. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he gives a good splash of like what we came up like Wayne, Ludacris, Erykah Badu. Like he does a good mix of old and new to me. And I think his festival is not for everybody. I think a lot of people like Rolling Loud is more of the, okay, what's hot, what's new, let's be in here. You know what I'm saying? I feel like J. Cole is very like, it has a correlation between him and in the music game. It's about what he wants to do and about what he wants to see. But I think it's a good representation of where we at. You got to show some of the new good artists, but you got to show homage to like the Lil Waynes, the Erykah Badu's, the Ludacris's, even Chief Keef. He had his era. So I ain't mad at it. I
would never pay to go to this.
Damn.
For real?
I wouldn't. I'm looking and I'm like, no. I would.
Is it because you're not a festival person or just the lineup in itself?
But a little bit of both. So I will admit that I'm not a festival person. Rolling Loud in Miami, I don't attend that either. But also, Like I feel like I'd only enjoy 2 out of the 3 artists that's up there. And then I'm with you, Keenan, on some of these new people. I don't have any idea who these people are. So I can't really say that I'd get my money's worth. Like, I'm not a Chief Keef fan. Keisha Cole, okay. Like, as a millennial, I love my people and I love the music that I came up on. But when you're putting on performances and shows and things of that nature, after a certain age, our knees get a little weak and the show looks a little different. So I just feel like the older artists or the artists that came up with us, they we have to really appreciate their music in order to appreciate the show that they're putting on, because they have less of a show. I personally don't think that not all of them, but majority of them can't keep up with the masses. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Asia, Lewis, what's your thoughts on the lineup?
Keenan, I'm with you on this one. Like, I like the lineup, because and it's because I can appreciate, like, some of it will be nostalgic for me, others of it I thoroughly just enjoy, right? And others it's like, I don't know who these people are also. Um, but and then I also do appreciate, like, Earth Gang. Like, I like that kind of stuff too. So for me, and I do like certain festivals, I do enjoy that too, because I think it's just the whole vibe of it all, right? Most people, they're just there just like enjoying music. So I like the purity of music just being what it is, right? Like, Erykah Badu, not necessarily a performer, but I can appreciate seeing her on a stage and just vibing out to her with other people that's also vibing out to her, you know? So that's where I'm at with it.
For sure.
No, I think it's a good, I think it's a good lineup, to be honest with you. You got a little bit of everything. To your point, generations, music. I like it. I'm curious why Wale is so small, right? Because is that still some kind of underlying beef there with him and J. Cole? Because I feel like Wale is a bigger artist, deserves more of a title, a bigger, larger font. You know what I'm saying? I think that's interesting.
I think Wale is that to a certain area of the United States. I don't think Wale is as big everywhere else as we see him. I would agree with you, Lewis. I think he's big time, but I think this southeastern region, he's big, but I don't think he beats out some of the other, like, you ain't messing with Glorilla. If I'm looking at his day, Tim's, I'm not.
No.
But JID, I mean, he's bigger than JID. I think JID had that song that went viral, but I feel like Wale is bigger than him. Not to get specific about the flyer, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think it's some validity. I'm a Wale fan. I just don't think Wale's. I think I'm gonna speak for myself. I like Wale's music more than it probably translates to the mainstream. Then I think I don't think it translates to mainstream as much as I like it. That's the part for me. That's what I would say.
I'm with you.
And I like real quick, because now I'm looking, like, I do feel like, to Lewis's point just about like Wale, like, I'm looking at like Ab Soul and I'm just like, to me, I would rather see Ab Soul than like Chief Keef. To be honest, like, it's like for me, but I like Ab Soul, like, really, really, really rock with him, right? And so for me, I'm like, I want his name in a bigger font too.
I'm gonna be honest.
He's very niche. A lot of people don't even know.
I think Cole did Wale a favor putting him on Sunday instead of Saturday. I think he would have got outshined on Saturday, so he had to put him on Sunday. I think it's too many heavy hitters on Saturday. Like, I'm surprised Cole want to go. I get it's his festival, but you put Lil Wayne in the Hot Boys Saturday night, bro. Sheesh. That's a tough lineup in your own joint. But I think, and no disrespect to Wale at all, you know what I'm saying? Because Coco Jones, like, I just don't think like Coco Jones, Keisha Coles, and Ari Lennox. How much of that is she going? You know what I mean? I think he did a good balance of this on that day, this on that on the other day. But the concert queen, bring us home.
So I have a lot of opinion on this just because I actually attend Dreamville Festival. I'm underwhelmed.
Big again.
You took it down.
Oh, my bad. You want to leave it up? My bad. I thought you was about to.
Yeah, I needed it for reference.
Okay.
I'm a little underwhelmed and disappointed. For one, we've seen Wayne at Dreamville. So like this is not his first year coming to Dreamville. So to me, it's not like, oh my God, Wayne's coming to Dreamville. He was there in 2022. Like he headlined with T.I. and Jeezy and Wayne. Like those three were like kind of like triple headliners in one night. And then also when Drake came, Drake also brought out Wayne. So now it's kind of like, okay, this is the third time you're gonna bring Wayne as a headliner. Like, okay, we get it. And then also Erykah Badu, love her down. However, like I'm not a huge Erykah Badu fan, but I do think she's an amazing artist and I respect her. But on Sunday night, at the hype of it all, Erykah Badu coming on before Cole is a snooze fest. And I can tell you because I know what the vibes are when you're out there. Once the sun sets and it's nighttime, like we be ready to go up. Erykah Badu is finna go down for that crowd that's out there at like 8 o'clock at night. Nobody wants to hear On and On at 8 o'clock at night when we're waiting on Cole. Like we just don't want to. I'm excited about Glorilla. I love Keisha Cole. I'm excited to see Ludacris, Wale, Coco Jones. But yeah, Wayne to me, like last year, Chris Brown was supposed to be the headliner for the first night, but then something happened and then he ended up doing 50 Cent. But I wish that it was Chris Brown or somebody else, but I just feel like Wayne has been here too many times. But overall, I'm gonna be drunk in the fields with my friends. So it's gonna be a vibe regardless, but the lineup itself is just kind of like, eh.
How do you feel about the balance of like homage and then newcomers, or just all is it because specifically of how do you feel about the balance of new to old artists?
I think it's a decent balance. I just feel like there's some other people who he could have brought, like who I would have loved to see. The people that are small, just like I don't know if y'all have ever been to a festival, but like you don't get there when the festival starts. Like you kind of time it. If it's an artist, whoever your first artist that you want to see, you basically get there around the time that that they are going to come on stage. Like there's a schedule. So all those small artists, I feel the same way that y'all feel. So I won't be out there. I'll be brunching and drinking. So I'll get out there a little later. Yeah, it's got to be a pregame. But I mean, overall, I respect it. It's the last one, but I feel like Cole is the only festival that makes you wait on the lineup. So you have to blind buy the ticket. And I blind bought my ticket, but having us wait 2 weeks before the festival for this lineup is crazy.
If you would have saw the lineup, would you still have bought your ticket?
No.
Damn, that's real.
I would not. I would not have bought my ticket. But it's cheaper to buy tickets when they first go on sale versus waiting for the lineup. So you just got to kind of trust it. But the anticipation of doing this 2 weeks before is crazy because this should have been a heavy hitter lineup for us to be waiting 2 weeks before. He could have told us this in January.
Damn, Princess, he put Wale there for you. Damn.
He could have told us this in January.
Oh Lord. Hey, so I got a question.
He could have.
I got a question for Princess. Like, so you do go, we do know you frequent events quite often, concerts, because you've practically seen everyone by now. Right? Does it ever get old to you at all? Or what keeps you going?
It depends on who the performer is. Like if you're just my favorite, then I will go see you over and over and over again. But I have seen quite a few people on this lineup. I have seen quite a few people.
Any favorites from this?
One more question. Go ahead, Kenny.
No, you go ahead, brother.
All right. Out of all the concerts you went to, who surprised you the most? I'm just curious. It was like, damn, that was better than I ever expected.
Soulja Boy.
2 Chainz.
I've actually never seen Soulja Boy. Love 2 Chainz. I love 2 Chainz, but not 2 Chainz. Honestly, it's probably somebody R&B Cause like I'm into like when someone sings and the mic is on, that's a totally in like if someone has a live band, like that just sets it off for me. I would say honestly, one of my first, when I was early in my concert days in college, I went to see Chrisette Michele live. Amazing.
There we go.
Yeah.
She sings down, Chrisette Michele. And I wasn't even on her music like that, but going to her concert with my friends put me onto her music. Because she was that good.
Respect.
Yeah.
Fire. All right, that's our thoughts on Dreamville. You know, we're gonna see how it's gonna go. Princess gonna give us a full recap, hour-long bit. Oh, my fault. Hour-long by herself Monday night, all Princess Dreamville recap. You heard it here first.
I ain't say all that.
So in recent news, man, so Iman Shumpert and Teyana Taylor's divorce settlement has come through. I'm going to read some of the details of it, and then we're going to kind of just discuss what happened before we get into the topics of the night. So they finalized their divorce. Teyana Taylor retained 4 properties, valuing a total of $10 million. Iman Shumpert kept his condo in Miami and 2 Georgia properties. He had to make a one-time 7-figure payment to Teyana Taylor, and he's up for $8,000 a month for child support. And I think she kept most of the to a couple, like the G-Wagon, a couple of the big video vehicles. She kept those too. Took my man to the bank. It's crazy out here. What's y'all thoughts? What's y'all initial thoughts on hearing the settlement, man?
Honestly, were those her things that she came into it with? Do we know that? Because I've been wondering, like seeing it on social media, like are those her properties and stuff and cars and stuff that she had prior to him?
No,
it's not.
No, hell no. I think they. I'm trying not to go too quick off the deep end.
Okay.
I think one of the condo in Miami was his, I believe, by himself. I'll put it like this. I feel like he got what he came in with, she got what she came in with, and what they built. Okay. So the condo and those Georgia properties was his prior to. The one of the houses that they lived in, she got, and the other 3 from the 4, they got together. Yeah, I did. They took this is crazy to me, dog. I'm gonna tell you why it is. I got in so many arguments on social media in my story about this because I disagree with some things. I ain't all in their business. I'm looking at what I read. I don't go all deep into. I wasn't in the courtroom with them, but they both got money. $8,000 is aggressive. Secondly, we can go there, Lewis. I know. Okay, we can go there. Secondly, hey man, I gotta pay you a one-time payment, and you get $10 million worth of property, and you get all the cars, and I'm paying the child support. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think no lawyer is stupid enough to sign that. That had to happen post. That don't make sense on nowhere. And then I'm not so sure she had to have been close to the breadwinner in a situation. Iman Shumpert was a good NBA player, but he wasn't a superstar where he got that one big contract in Cleveland. She been a child star for years.
Yeah,
so that's crazy. To the bank, dog.
Yep, so he cheated. She got a car and a bike that day.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
that bike was fire.
But Keenan, so do you think that? Okay, my question is based off of what you said. Do you think that he deserves more, or that that they shouldn't have split it the way that they split it? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it should have been more even, or do you think he deserves the more because you said she was a breadwinner?
I'm cool with even. Like, if she was worse off, right? If she was worse off and needed more and to settle it so we can be even, I'm cool with that. But if we're in similar places financially, you can reach in my bracket, I can reach in your bracket on a certain day. We should split with even properties, especially if I'm gonna have to come out of pocket for child support.
I agree with that. Listen, I agree with what you said. The only thing that I think kind of shifts that is custody of kids, right? So that maybe shifts more what she gets. I think it was pretty fair. I think $8K a month, that's $72,000 a year if my math is correct. That's not too bad for child support for someone of his caliber, because you can earn that on interest easy, with the type of money he has.
Not with everything he just gave to her.
But the 7-figure payment, I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that. What's that for? What do you need a big lump sum of money for? Like, I don't understand.
That's crazy, man.
Is it
that part I don't get.
Is it true that there was like an infidelity clause, or are people? Is that just speculation? Because I didn't read anything like for real. I just saw little tidbits.
But she gave an interview about how she introduced the threesome into their relationship, right? And she was on a podcast, kind of being boisterous about the fact that it was her idea and it wasn't his. She's like, people think that it was because of him. She's like, no, I ran that. I created that, scenario. So I don't think that there was any infidelity, because I think anytime you bring someone into your bedroom, you're now inviting that type of environment.
No, I disagree with that.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I disagree though. To me, a threesome is consent from both partners to bring a third person into the bedroom. So if you decide to venture outside of this threesome that we've agreed to, then to me, that's infidelity. I don't care how many people we bring back, but if you decide to venture out on your own, then you cheating.
Is there a threesome contract I don't know about? When does it end?
Hey, Princess, bring them back.
I feel like that's a continuous conversation between you and your partner, because you
it ain't a 7-figure payment conversation.
Time, and then be like, all right, we did it one time. We're not about to keep having threesomes. That doesn't mean like, oh, we had a threesome one time, so now I can go smash somebody else on the street. Yeah. Like, no, that doesn't mean that. So,
and I forgive my ignorance, y'all, if I sound ignorant when I say a couple of things. I don't want to sound ignorant. Mm-hmm. Let's say for the sake of this conversation, let's say he did slip up. If I make that one-time payment, why do I got to give up all that other stuff too? It's like, this is what look, I get contracts, I get the clause, I get all of that stuff. But my issue is, okay, let's just say for the sake, it happened. So now you banging me across the head for $10 million worth of properties, another $3, $4, $5 million worth of cars, and then I got to pay you a one-time seven-figure payment. Mm-hmm. So okay,
I think in that instance though, Keenan, like all that other stuff that was a part of the divorce. Let's say that there was this clause, and then it was like, okay, cool. You saying that you never gonna do nothing crazy? Okay, cool. Put your money where your mouth is, right? So I think that it's like, yeah, we've settling all the regular stuff in the divorce, and also you still owe me 7 figures because XYZ. I haven't said much about this just because I can acknowledge that I have a biased opinion about it. I really rock with Teyana Taylor. She could have took him for everything he got, and I would have been like, "That's my girl. Go ahead, sister. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead on."
That's
my girl.
Asia, that's that BS right there.
But I'm telling you, Keenan. But I said straight up, I am being biased. I know it's not the right answer. I'm fully aware of that. But that's my girl, and she won.
I high-key feel you, Asia, because that's my girl too. So it's like, hey, that's Petunia. That's Petunia.
Got everything she deserved. Emotional distress with the added tax.
Hey man, I don't want to be ignorant. Yo.
Go ahead.
I fucking hate that attitude, and I know y'all mean it. I fucking hate that.
That's Petunia.
Because if she would have cheated and took him for the same thing, y'all still would be happy that she got him for it.
No, I would have been disappointed in her.
Man, Princess, get the see.
I'll be honest. Look, I'll say it. I will be disappointed with a smile on my face because I really rock with her.
Why?
I really and I am being completely honest in this moment. And I know this is really ignorant for me to say, but we're being honest here. I really rock with her. So I can definitely say, yeah, she's wrong. Let's say if it was a situation, I could say that, yeah, she's wrong. and she better go ahead with Mufasa. You know what I'm saying? Like she better go ahead with winning.
That's Mufasa.
I'm just saying, like I'm my toxic trait is I rock with her, and so I'm rocking with her.
What's the obsession? What's women's obsession with that lady? Because my wife is the same way about her.
It's her aura. It's everything about her. She just, I don't know.
She is badass, body banging.
Man, what that got to do with this messed up divorce settlement?
And she's super talented too.
She is talented.
Very underrated. Very, very underrated.
But her and Rihanna don't get along for some reason. I don't know why.
Hey, I'll be honest. I ain't no good.
I'm not in the Navy, so I don't know.
I am disappointed, bro.
Bro, what you expect, man? Don't have any expectations of that, man. You know how it is.
It ain't really about them, that situation specifically. I just really hate how, like, if a woman rock with another woman, she could be as grimy. I'm not calling Teyana Taylor grimy. She could do whatever she wants, but it's all good. Oh yeah, she did it. And let a guy that they like do a woman dirty, and they gonna flip on him.
No.
But y'all do the same thing though, honestly. For real. Y'all be like, hey, yeah.
Give me a situation that would be remotely close to that.
Thing.
Any situation remotely close to where a guy was gutting a girl out and he still got patted on the back, and you seen men be like, oh no, he's straight.
Men do that every day.
I didn't say they didn't. Give me a guy who gutted out his partner, got everything he wanted from the relationship, and guys got online or did whatever. It was like, oh yeah, no, go ahead, bro. I see you.
Future.
What? Tell me who he. Hey, hold on. Tell me who he married and gutted out.
For real.
You said who?
Huh?
You said who?
Future.
He said Future.
Oh, I thought you said somebody after that.
No, I said that's y'all king.
Who did he take for their money?
He didn't take anyone for their money.
No. We're not talking about the money aspect.
Oh, hold on.
We're talking about like a man doing a woman wrong, and like.
But what I'm saying is,
I have one for that, Keenan, though.
Okay.
And I actually had an argument about this, and y'all already know I really don't like Mary J. Blige like that. No. But her ex-husband, he gutted her, and I mean gutted her. Like, how is she the one paying child support to a child that's not biologically hers in a divorce? And when I tell you people, and I saw men being like, yeah, he got his. I saw it with my own two eyes. So
there's about that.
Hey, what year was that?
I didn't.
What year was it?
This was
what? It doesn't matter.
Happened. Yeah, it happened. You asked for an example. I gave you an example.
I think that was more in a response to what Keenan is making a point of right now, right? It's like that was one instance where you saw a man get the same treatment as a woman in that setting, in that situation. But typically you see in a divorce where someone gets awarded a lump sum of money is because they gave up or they sacrificed a career and they could not earn as a part of that dynamic because that person was the primary breadwinner. In this situation, they're probably one of the more equal people that I've seen. So the fact that she got a seven-figure payment, that just doesn't make sense to me. I could get with the houses and the cars because she has the kids, but he's paying child support, right? What is the lump sum for? That I can't comprehend.
Emotional distress.
But he got it too.
I think it's something we won't know. I really do think because that is a lot of money. Like, no lie. Like, this is the part I'll say it fine. Yes, I think that there was something going on, and that's how she got the money.
Yeah.
But she got
that's the only way that would even make remote. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm agreeing with y'all on that. Like, that's a large amount of money. So it had to be, and I get it. Like, it's not our business, but like, it had to be something going on for that to be cleared.
Yeah.
Because that's just crazy. Like, I'm agreeing with y'all in that aspect for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm telling you, this is my closing thought, man.
She a black woman living though.
Hey, MBWmerch.com.
Go get it.
She got the merch. You see it saying tap in.
You might get a 7-figure payment.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I will say this though. I'm not really mad at Teyana. Let me just say this little tip before we move on. It's not Teyana Taylor that bothers me. It's just the scenario. It's not Teyana Taylor. Because I actually felt like she's one of the few that handled it and didn't gut their partner out publicly. She didn't try to put him in a certain light. Any light he got in, he put himself in as far as the divorce goes. So I do want to commend her on that.
They even use fake names. Like they use, I think, initials because they didn't want it out. But people obviously found it and put it. And she literally posted at one point, like, can y'all please stay out of our bed? Like, leave us alone. Like, we tried to do this privately. So, yeah.
Man, I met them in Miami one time, bro. I lost my mind. I was like, what? They were just sitting down, chilling, eating. Like, it was like a regular old, like, just literally them two outside of a spot eating. And I was walking with B-Dot, matter of fact. And I was like, hey, bro, that's Teyana Taylor at the Bond Shop. But they was like, what's up, bro?
She was there when we were in Miami for the podcast party, too, because of the weekend that it was. And I text my friend, that party that we were supposed to be going to that we didn't go to, she was there. And I text my friend, I said, we go to this party. And I am in her presence. I might pass out.
The one from Friday night?
No, Saturday night. When we left the pod party and we were supposed to go to that party, she was at that party. And I'm like, bro, if I get close to her.
All right, so we got Louis B and Princess bringing the vibes for the night, man. Let's get into these topics.
What up? What up? All right, I'm gonna kick it off with you first, P.
All right. So speaking of Iman, he had a little something to say. So let's see it and let's get our thoughts on this.
With money, don't listen. A nigga with money don't want you to listen. I'm gonna give this out to all women worldwide. Niggas with money don't want you paying no. We don't care for you to do that. We not coming to get you for no bread. If you do that and you get your own bread on the side, we gonna clap our hands for it. We gonna smile about it. We gonna be proud of it. We don't need you to do it. That's the advantage of picking us. We don't want you for that. We want to, honestly, we don't, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You.
And that's why. Never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thoughts?
Transition.
I have thoughts.
That's how she got.
Go first.
That's how she got that 7-figure check. That's why.
He did not help.
I'll go on a limb and say this. What he's saying is true though. Like, I don't think if you have it, you're like, oh no, you straight. Like, I'm not. It goes back to, man, I got in a TikTok debate over this. It goes back to the provider thing. That's the goal. So if we have it and it's not an infringement on our life environment or whatever, we're not tripping on that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But bad timing, boy. Cause I'm gonna save my second ignorant statement for later. I think that's a dangerous game though in 2025. I'm gonna be real about it. I think it's a dangerous game. I think the type of money he's talking about and the type of money most of us experience, even if we're well off, it looks very different. And I think what people don't like to talk about with money, it's a shift that comes with who's doing what. And it get real uncomfortable if you used to certain things and that you take away that power now because you're not worried about it. But like, it's a shift that comes with that. Every woman, some women may feel like, and please correct me, ladies, like some women may feel like their ability to produce income like allows them to do what they want because this is the bread I get. I do what I want anyway because this is what I make. So if you take that away, that could look different, even if you're paying for everything. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that I could just not bring in any income. It sounds good, but to me, I just feel like that gives someone too much control. Even if you pay everything, like all like the bills in the home or whatever, I still have to have some type of income coming in for me.
Can I ask a real question, Princess?
Yeah.
Why does the money equate to control for you? And I'm not judging it. I really like to have that conversation. Like, why do you think giving up money for a man or a woman, but in this case, we're talking about a woman. Why do you think that it makes someone feel like they're relinquishing control?
Because honestly, a lot of times that's what it equates to. Like when you have someone who is like a breadwinner or just a man who, men with money, let me just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They easily control who they are in a relationship with. Because I could be cheating on you, but I'm going to buy you this bag so you can shut up. You got this house. I'll go buy you this car. You don't have to work, so you're good in that aspect. But everything else is messed up. So oftentimes, like speaking to the amount of money to Lewis's, like to what he's talking about, that type of money, yeah, like I definitely feel like there's a control thing. And like I was just raised to just like always be able to take care of yourself. Even if someone else is technically taking care of you, be able to stand on your own.
I love that. Because I have a daughter, you know, now I'm probably not setting the best example because I don't, when she's around me, but I do think that principle is important, right? To your point and to Keena's point. Yeah, I think what he was saying like two different things, right? I feel like he was saying men that have money don't want you to pay bills, but then he was saying men don't want you for that reason, right? Because you can pay your own. I think he was having two different conversations or two different statements. So I'm going to maybe stick to the latter. I don't think that women being independent and being able to provide a certain lifestyle for themselves or accomplish certain things, I don't think those are the things that we look for when we're looking for a wife or when we're looking for a companion. That to me is probably, can you handle yourself is probably more important. But as far as what you can provide financially, that's not what I look for. You know, that's not, I think a majority of men aren't looking for that. Just to go on that second point that he was making.
And I also feel like I've never seen a man with money truly be concerned. Like for real, like what he's saying, I feel like that's real. I've never seen a man that's really, really getting money talk about 50-50. What do you bring? Because they're gonna do it anyway. Most times, like I've never seen that.
I'm gonna jump in here. I agree with everything that y'all are saying. I just want to know if that applies to society today, because I feel like a lot of men hold back whether they have money or not, right? Like, but they're not saying what y'all are saying because women have put this like, you got to have money. You got to pay the bills. You got to have this huge expectation of, oh, you can't, they don't want to go to the Cheesecake Factory or wherever it was. Like, that's silly to me. So because of that, the folks that are now dating in 2025 are having a difficult time finding mature, that's the word, mature men, to kind of be the provider in these relationships. It makes it difficult.
I think, but you can't, it's like, so to that point, a certain kind of woman can say that, and I don't think a man would be offended. But it's some of the women that are saying that, right? And it's like, you can't even go to the Cheesecake Factory by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you gonna tell me I can't take you there, right? I think the perspective and reality and value has gone, and I think people have access to things like, you know, social media and all that stuff, and everybody's looking at the same thing. You got someone that's probably living in lower middle class looking at the same bag as someone in upper middle class, right? Or they're in the top 1%. And that's just not, you can't have the same standards of people in that, or who've been accustomed to that lifestyle or know how to operate in that place, you know? And as someone who has been fortunate enough, and I'm talking about shit, that's been able to rise through the class statuses, right? It's a different shift. It's a different approach to things, right? There's when I get around and I'm around certain people, the conversations are different, and I can have them without feeling guilty. But if I go to a certain place, I can't have those same conversations because those things are going to be looked at differently. You know what I'm saying? And I think the thing that I've grown to learn, the people that don't have much or money are the ones that talk about it the most. Yep. When you're around people that have money, it's understood. It's not even a conversation. You're talking about what the money gets you. You're not even talking about the money.
And I also think, Louis, to your point, because people have never had it, they still think that this number, like I say all the time, 6 figures 10 years ago is not the same as 6 figures today. And I'm talking about like the surface level, like 100K is like, whoa, 100K is not that anymore.
Not anymore.
But the people who do all that talking about it is nowhere near it. So they don't even know that the people who are making it, like, it don't hit the way it hit 10 years ago. So I feel like when they're looking for a man and they're like, oh, I need a 6 figure, that man might still need your help, depending on where y'all stay at. Like, that does not mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, 6 figures is just the end all be all and he got it. Like, we're not living like 2025. No, this is not 2000.
So I agree with you, Princess. I agree with everybody. I got a couple things. I'm gonna get bit on the first one, then I'm gonna go down the line. I'm gonna start with Princess because I agree. I'm gonna push back a little bit. I think 6 figures is still a lot if you're willing to fit your lifestyle into it. I think a lot of people hear 6 figures and think there's an exact lifestyle that's attached that makes it unaffordable. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I do,
right. Mm-hmm.
I do think it's still different from 10 years ago, Princess. Don't get me wrong. But I also think people think when you hit 6 figures, I got to start doing certain stuff. No.
$6,000.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What I will say to what Brittany said earlier. Brittany, I think the problem in 2025, ladies, forgive me. I think the problem in 2025 when it comes to women like that, they don't like the expectation that it comes back with when you say, I need to do this with money. That's when it starts to get choppy. They can say like, hey, you need to buy this or da-da-da, money. But I don't think a lot of people acknowledge like, okay, I'll do that. But that also allows me to put an expectation on you of what I get back. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's when that line starts to sputter a little bit. It gets real great in because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, expectations is what makes stuff uncomfortable. You expect me to pay, cool. And then I expect something from you because I'm paying. And then it's like, oh, you bought me this dinner. Don't mean I got to talk to you. You bought me this dinner. Don't mean I got to call you back. And then and I'm not saying dudes should think like that. But what I'm saying is the expectation that comes back is what gets uncomfortable in dating because people only think about what they want. They don't think about what they're going to have to do in order to get that.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's good.
So like they're like, oh, I want blah, blah, blah. But like, okay, you can want that. And once I do that, I want this because I did that. Mm-hmm. And people keep acting like dating and relationships don't have a transactional component to it. Stop it. They absolutely do. Mm-hmm. Like everything is give and take. Everything is investment. So when you think like, I see more, the closer I am to some situations, I see more people offer up their standard or expectation and less people share what that will bring to that partner, man or female.
I think that's what makes it, I completely agree with what you're saying, Kenan. I think that's what makes it difficult.
That's twice in one night. Thank you, Asian.
That's what makes it difficult when like somebody, like when a woman though that is making her own money, that she is independent, then comes into contact with a man, right, who is also making his own money and all those things. Because like I have a friend and he always asks me like, how is it for you? Because you work a lot. And then because can you imagine now it's like, okay, cool. Now we both have these expectations. But what if I don't have time to meet those expectations that you have because I am also really working, I'm making money and all these things. And then the expectations that we have of each other, it's like those need to be managed, right? So I think sometimes it becomes difficult with dating, depending on the class that you're in and all those things, because yes, sometimes the guys that are here, and let's say we're making around the same amount, or even if they're making a little bit more than me, they will be expecting me to do the things as if I'm making significantly less than they are.
Oh yeah, no.
That's not true. That's not true. I do not have the salary of the woman that, like, we're close to this. So the things are going to have to be, the expectations are going to have to be a little bit more even. And I think sometimes in conversation, men don't like that part of the conversation.
That's fair.
Because we're making, I'm not here with it, right?
You
and
can't
just like
sun
what
me.
you said, you can't, right? And so it's like, I think the managing expectations, it becomes hard to date sometimes.
Asia, so let me ask you a question. What would be your response to expectation? And I'm literally just asking, what would be your response? Well, any of you all can answer this. Your response to like, I don't mind taking care of everything, but you got to ask me before you swipe.
Wait, hold on. Am I in agreement that they
the situation
are
is you get
slicing?
whatever financial expectation you want, but you got to communicate with me before you do it.
Everything?
I'm just asking a question.
No.
Nah, bro. I'm not doing that.
I think up until a certain point, maybe that's how we start, so I can learn your traits and you can learn my comfort level. But after a while, I think that should stop.
Yeah, because if I add that sounds too much like you my daddy.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
I think you got to be built, like maybe you're working and building towards trust, but I think that's a lack of trust, right? Like I think you should be able to.
So Lewis, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. I don't disagree with you all. I went with a wild scenario for this reason. I just was like, if there was a presentation of financial expectation with something back for that financial expectation, a little bit extreme. Shout out to my bro Lewis. A little bit extreme, but you see how uncomfortable it can be if something comes behind. Oh, I'll pay for it, but I need you to tell me when you're doing these things.
Because that's the controlling aspect of it. Like I feel like you're in control then. If I have to call you for every single purchase I make, like that's an allowance to me. Like it's a controlling piece to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just love this conversation. So you should have free will over the bread.
It's
if
not
that's the case, give me an allowance.
But not only that, but that goes to Lewis's point about trust. Like you gotta trust that I'm gonna spend wisely. I'm not gonna be out here burning up everything, and then we don't have a house to come back home to. Like I think it's understanding the dynamics in your relationship and helping your partner, I guess, understand how far you're willing to go. Right. So I agree with Lewis, like having a little bit of that in the beginning. But for so far as like a long-term thing, like here, I can give you whatever you want as long as you call. No, you're controlling me. Like I don't know. That's not.
I've always had an issue. I think our children, anyone that has kids know this. When you're not the one earning the money, it's really hard for that person to understand the value of that money too. You know, so I think like me, like even allowing someone to have free reign over something that I have or that I've worked for to earn, like that's super uncomfortable.
I would agree with that, Lewis. That's why I said an allowance. Because if you give that person like, okay, this is how much you're going to get a week or a month, then that phone call should not happen.
I get what you're saying.
It doesn't matter what right. Like if you spend that on one thing, then you broke.
That's you. That's your decision.
So
until the next time.
I like that. I work the opposite way. My thing is I give myself the allowance and you can have the rest because because this is my thought. I said this in a prior episode.
Iman.
Yeah.
No.
You think it was popping earlier?
No.
Okay.
So because this is my thing. If all the bills are taken care of and I know my portion of things and I know there's money left over in excess to the point where you can do whatever, right? I'd rather give myself an amount that I know that I will be good with regardless of what you do, because it's like I'm gonna be honest. I think it's too hard trying to get an independent person to all of a sudden start being dependent. It's just too hard. Even if it's no control, no text me, let me see, like all that stuff sound good, but like it's too much.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you this, Keenan. So like, let's say like in that scenario that you just said, like you know, you give yourself the allowance and the bills are paid, all that stuff, and then you see something, you're like, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna give me that. I'm gonna give you that my allowance, and then you realize you like $20 short. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even $100 short. You gonna then hit up Shorty like, hey, let me hold $100.
Access to that though. We both have access.
But you have gone over your allowance that you allotted, and you said she can now control the rest of it. You gonna go back on that so you can get your purchase?
Time out. Let's clarify.
That feels uncomfortable, right?
No, let's clarify some things. I wasn't saying that she controls that. I'll tell the literal scenario. A joint account that has that bread, I have my own separate accounts that has what I send to them. That joint we both had access to. So if something needs to overflow in there, and if it's in there, I'm taking it. There's no questions asked about that. What I'm saying is back to acknowledging how hard it is to like worry about stuff like that. I'd rather give myself when I'm cool on a month, because I also don't think I'm very high maintenance with spending. Like, I don't have a lot of crazy spending habits. The stuff I spend on, y'all see me using. So I don't really have crazy spending habits on like shit like that.
But do you feel like that because you're the man?
What you mean?
Meaning, so you're saying like
I feel like
do you
make your
like
wife comfortable, you get what you want.
But I'm just saying, like, do you think that a woman would say the same thing that you just said? No.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you feel comfortable saying that because you're the man, and I feel like you're still taking that provider. Like, I'm cool with this amount. She can, she can have the rest. The house is taken care of. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give myself this amount. You probably never gonna hear a woman say that.
I agree, Princess, but that's why it bothers me with this 50-50 stuff and all that. Like, because in reality, like, there's certain stuff a woman ain't going for. They just not. And I don't care how much partnership you talk, leadership, constituent, follow, all that great stuff. It's certain stuff she ain't going for, dog. Especially if she look like my wife. She ain't going for it. She's not.
And to be honest, like, I hear a lot of the 50-50 talk irks my soul.
I hate it.
Because now everybody's like, oh, I'm not 50-50. I'm 100 about my, like, all of it.
And they single. They ain't even got nobody to even compare.
Like, all of it is stupid. To be honest, when you're in a marriage and when you really locked in, like, if one falls short, here we go. Joint accounts, here we go. You paid this, oh, I'm short here, whatever. Or I got it this time. Like, that's just the way partnerships work. I really and truly, for a healthy relationship, let me say that. Because there are a lot of people that are in marriages or in relationships that really bank on 50-50. Like, I'm not touching a bill. I'm not touching a nothing, a grocery, or nothing. Like, I'm coming in here and my thing is to cook, to clean, whatever, take care of these kids. But a healthy relationship,
it's 9:30.
Why didn't you text me?
I did. That's why I'm like, are they not?
I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking.
Brittany was making a point.
I apologize.
And it was good.
I apologize.
It was a good point.
My bad.
I think what Brittany was talking about, I liked is that I don't think 50-50 is even possible. It's impossible for responsibilities to be even, right? I think if you're going out of your way to try to make it that, then I think that's ridiculous. But I will say, in the time that we're in order to get the certain lifestyle that someone wants, it is a joint effort, whatever that looks like, right? For a certain lifestyle that you two may want to attain, we are no longer in a place in society where one income, unless it's a very, very strong income, can maintain a lifestyle for a family that allows people to be able to afford such luxuries as traveling and all that stuff. So I agree with that point, and I really love
$100.
Say what now?
It's $100.
Thanks, though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But to Brittany's point, like, it's just what is necessary for us to get to where we say we want to be. That's what needs to be discussed more than just splitting things down the middle. Because there are things that I can do that my wife can't do, but there's things that she can do that I can't do. And I used to think that money was the answer to everything, but it's not. What good is the money if you have no peace in your home or in your place, right? Or if you don't know where to put it, right? Or how much time that can, is your money freeing your time? Are you enjoying the money that you're making? So those things are just as valuable. So I'm really proud of you, Brittany, for saying that, because I think that's the part that gets lost. When people hear 50-50, if you're going out of your way to try to make it that, I think that's ridiculous. But if you are doing what you need to do together to get to where you guys, I know I'm repeating myself, where you guys agree that that's where you want to be, that's what it should look like in my opinion. And correction to my math, 8 times 12 is 96. I said 72 earlier. It's 96.
You go.
And I also just want to say too, like, I was two things. I think going back to like, even like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I would appreciate it. I would definitely appreciate it if when I get in a relationship or marriage and all that kind of stuff, he's like, you know what, you don't have to work as many hours. I would love that, right? Because, like, even for myself, Lewis, to your point, like, I know that I'm working so hard, not just so that I can hang out with my married friends, you know what I'm saying, but also so that I can pay down my debt so that when I do get in a relationship, it doesn't carry over. Like for me, I feel like I'm doing my part already. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, okay, now we don't have to start from such a deficit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, cool. Now we can actually, so that if he says, hey, you don't have to work as many hours, I won't feel guilty for not working as many hours. You know what I'm saying? Because I would feel like an expense. You know what I'm saying? Like for him, it's like a luxury. Like I get to do this for my lady. I would feel like an expense if I felt like I didn't do anything to contribute. You know what I'm saying? And so like for me, that's what I want to say. And also Snoop Dogg, I read this recently. He had made a statement. He was just talking about how like his wife has not had to work a day in her life. And like he worked hard for that. You know what I'm saying? That made me think about like for a man, I feel like it's a luxury of like getting to a place, to Iman's point, that it's like she doesn't have to if she doesn't want to do anything. She has the option, you know, and the way he was talking about it was just like, I don't know, it was just like so dope.
Yeah, and I also just think in our community, and Brittany, I apologize, seriously. I do apologize. I'm cutting you off earlier. I think another thing is there's a lot of trauma tied to money in our community that we don't really know that unfolds when it really gets to the nitty-gritty of sharing, and you pay, like we really in one pot, spending habits, what wealth looks like, what debt looks like, what's good debt, bad debt. That stuff, bro, it can get iffy real quick. Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I think that helps us transition to our next topic. Kitty, you put
up actually,
is that not?
Oh, it's no, it's the third. But if you want to skip this,
can we skip? Can we go to the third topic?
Skip this one,
Can we go to the third one?
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a great transition.
Yep.
Have this may I think black people have this may ruffle some feathers, but I don't give a fuck. I feel like black people have revolutionized poverty and made it look so fucking cool that people think we like it.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
I think that black people have made poverty look so cool that people think we fucking like it, bro. We don't like it. We're just making the best of it.
Even the trauma that come from it, niggas aspire to it. Like niggas want to be a tough nigga. You don't realize this nigga ain't tough. This nigga just watched his daddy die and his mama on drugs, and like his life, that nigga traumatized. That nigga got PTSD. He ain't tough,
but he's
traumatized, and to the point where a nigga could grow up in a home like this and aspire to be from the projects.
It's because, unfortunately, people think that blackness is tied to poverty. They think that the black experience is being poor. That's why when you have others who equate poverty to being black, I don't have any privilege, I grew up poor. Why the fuck do you think because you've been broke that you know what it feels like to be black? No, you don't. You've just been poor.
Well, I think that those people that say they're just liars. It's like just like
I think that, like I said, we've made poverty look so easy and so cool that they think that it's synonymous.
Just are cool. You're not gonna take the cool. You're not gonna take the rhythm.
Is for the cool.
Yeah, you're not gonna take the rhythm out of black people's steps. You're not gonna keep black people quiet. I think
we're always gonna be too loud when we were never meant to be heard.
And you're never gonna stop us from being creative. So we're gonna find ways to express. And it, just as much as you're gonna have somebody that is gonna be critical of America, you're gonna have somebody that celebrate their neighborhood.
Correct.
And both things exist. And I think that you get into glorification when you got record labels pretty much creating a blueprint for what our music should be.
Right.
And they putting it in a spreadsheet. This does well and this does well.
And they got a checklist.
And they got a checklist, and these words have to be mentioned, and this is the subject matter.
And you're gonna tell me blackness.
And you're gonna tell me black.
That was deep.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
What do y'all think? Y'all agree that that poverty is synonymous. Black people is synonymous with us.
I think I'm gonna say this, and this might swing it a little bit different because I hear what she's saying. I agree. My issue is Black culture has made this cool, and I like the fact that they use the word cool because I don't think it's cool at all. And I think if you were not a part of the impoverished community, within Black culture, you were told you had a silver spoon in your mouth. You were told you were not cool enough. You were told blah, 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 blah. So I included, spent so much time trying to dig for the poverty, trying to dig for the struggles, trying to dig for the trauma to be cool with the Black people, so that the white people had the expectation that the Black people, we can live up to what exactly it is she's saying. So some of the blame I have to put back on the Black culture for adopting the word cool, because it's really not cool. I don't think it's cool at all. I think it's a part of our experience, or some of us. I think we all have our own whatever situation. We have strikes against us just for being Black. When we walk into a room, that's a given. So we all have to deal with that daily. But when it comes from the Black culture itself and trying to find our way, and then y'all trying to like marginalize the marginalized community already, it becomes very difficult for us to navigate that space. So that word cool really that triggered a little nerve a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
That was good, Britt. Yeah.
Good, Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
Next topic.
I'll step in and I agree with everything you said, Britt. You were spot on. I did like the it was kind of like a bar that she said in there, as far as like we're loud because we were never meant to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty dope for her to say that, because that, you know, it had a lot of good meaning behind it for me.
Mm-hmm.
To piggyback off of that, to the cool word, right? He was talking about the record labels, and I look back at some of the guys when they're going and auditioning for these record labels, and you see all these white guys sitting around the table, and you see the Black guys standing up on the table, and, you know, not saying making a fool of yourself, but it's like that's what we deem as cool. It's like they think that that's culture, that's Black culture, and in reality, they're leaving their office like, you see a dumbass in there doing all that today, man. Like, so because we've made it so cool that we think it's okay, and it's really not, though. So I agree with you.
Yeah,
this topic is.
And it also, go ahead, Louis.
I can't go yet.
It also just made me like the part where she was talking about like everybody wants to get it out the mud, and Britt, you kind of touched on it too. Like everybody didn't get it out the mud, and that's okay. But music specifically, and just like our surroundings and the culture will make us feel like we're not Black enough if we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to do it's funny because Keenan, you know where we went to high school, and
Facts.
you probably know some people I'm thinking about. But it's like, you know, it's some people that's like, bruh, you grew up in Cary, North Carolina. Why are you out here throwing up gang signs? Like,
man.
Are you? What's really going on right now? Like,
Facts.
Come on. I know the neighborhood that you grew up in. Okay, Regency was not the hood, so you know, like it was just like it's crazy, but it's like people feel like they have to revert to that. Because if not, like you said, Britt, it's like, oh, well, you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. Like, you're not Black enough. So people question you. And it comes a lot from us. Like, we do it to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, Princess, like, I think poverty look different in different environments. Like, you have, like, rural. Like, my grandmother lives in Goldsboro, North Carolina. That poverty looks much different than inner city poverty.
Not too much. That's where I'm from.
But I'm repping it too, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't from there, but you know, I got little ties there. But hey, well, Princess, you can relate to, you know what.
I definitely can. That's
you get what I'm saying? Like, you know what poverty in that space look like versus if you go in the inner city. You know what I'm saying? And this is the other thing, right? I think that dives into like it can also be a poverty mindset over the actual living environment of poverty. You know what I'm saying? Like, we pick up on certain things that's just like bad stuff to mimic. You know what I mean? But I think the unfortunate part is no funny. I kind of equate this to the light-skinned dude. I'm not being funny, Louis. I'm using this as a real example. I'm not. But like, you know, like the light-skinned dude he's not Black enough when he's with the Black people, but he's also not this when he's with another group. And I've had so many of my friends express like, people don't think about us because we get certain privileges over here, but I don't get that privilege over there. But I can't go in any of these dynamics and share that. And I'm saying that to say, when you grow up in the middle, you really don't know which space you belong in. when all the people that look like you come from this one place, but you able to articulate and go in this other place and say certain things, you like, they're like, oh, bro, you be with them though? What's going on here? And I think it's so hard to draw that line. Like, if I'm not like me, man, my mom may have us in the craziest place, but we wasn't like living everything up. You know what I'm saying? But in the very same note, she exposed me to enough to know both sides of the fence. Like, hey, when I was with, hey, I ain't gonna get them saying I ain't gonna put my summers out there, but when we spent time in different cities, you see what that life was like. You spend time when I went to my AAU tournaments and I'm with my teammates, I saw what that life was like. And I'm like, oh nah, that ain't and some learn how to navigate it, some don't.
I think I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm gonna keep it concise.
Not now.
You gotta share it. You gotta share it.
Not now.
I think that like for instance, I oftentimes say I'm like, yeah, like I'm one generation out the hood, right? Because originally I lived in the hood, and then my dad, y'all know the story, like he said, no, I'm moving my family out of here. I remember the days that my younger brother was angry, and I mean angry with my dad, like, why did you make us leave the hood? Why did you make us leave the hood? Right? I can't relate to my cousins that are still there. I don't have, like, what's my story? Right? My brother didn't feel like he had an identity as a Black man for not being, he's like younger than me, right? For not being in the hood, right? And having that quote unquote struggle. Where I think though, and this idea of did Black people make poverty look cool, right? It's like, or we're just not trying to look like our circumstances, right? So like when I think back on like back in the days, it's like, yeah, I don't think that the purpose was, okay, let's make this look cool. Is that no, if we don't need the white folks, and my grandmother still says it sometimes, we don't need the white folks knowing what we got going on. My grandmother has always had furs on her back, always, while she was homeless, while she was in rehab, but she always had a fur on her back. Right now, to other people, she looked glamorous and all this kind of stuff, but she was about like that was her real life. Her aim was not to look cool. Her aim was so that she was struggling privately. I think it's sad, right, that we don't oftentimes, I think we're getting better, right? But our parents, they couldn't educate us, our grandparents could really educate us on what middle class Black looked like if they were not middle class Black. But they could educate us on, well, your clothes are going to be ironed, you're going to look presentable when you leave this house, all this kind of stuff. Your story's your story, but don't look like it. And if that looks cool to some people, cool, it looks cool, but for other people, it's survival. It's a celebration of community. Rent parties, not trying to look cool. Everybody's just trying to pay their rent. Right? And so, but when you have the entertainment industry that takes that, capitalizes on it, and then tells people, well, the way that you can make it out is by sharing your story in this creative way. We can give you money to that. And then you see people actually doing it. Why would they not want to make it out if all they're doing is telling their story? If the mainstream media is making that quote unquote cool, then they're making it cool. But for me, I don't think it's like I think it's Black people living their life and sharing whatever their story is, and then other people capitalizing on that. Just because we don't look like what we're going through doesn't mean that we're trying to make it look cool. I think that it started off with people just celebrating survival or having to survive, and then celebrating the fact that they're making it to that next day, to that next week.
And I would say, and Asia, to your point, my wife said something to me when we was young to relate to what you just said. This is probably why we don't really trip on bills for real. She told me, I ain't never heard this. And my wife was, she was pretty straight growing up. My wife told me, hey, look, people don't know when you're hungry, but they'll know when you're homeless. So the point of it was like, hey, we could be going through whatever we going through, but we take care of the cribbo first. Right. And even though I never had that type of bad financial decision making, it just made me think, to your point, it's like you do have to struggle in private sometimes. Like that stomach can be burning on the way to work. But I got that car got to be able to crank up, and that house, that key got to work to that door. So it's like that mentality of like, yeah, no, what you're saying is real, because it's been plenty of times that pack of bologna gonna make it to this Friday. We're gonna fry it up.
Yeah, but can I add something to Asia, what you were saying? Sure. I do agree that it definitely started out like that, and that makes more sense after you elaborated. But the point of like the kids in the suburbs trying to join the gangs and doing all the other stuff, to them that does look cool, right? Because they're going back to what you said. A lot of black men are dealing with identity crisis, and even in music, we think that somebody got all the women selling drugs, everything. That's cool, that's appealing. But when we have a rapper that's speaking, on a higher level, he has a broader vocabulary. He's a conscious rapper. He's this. Like, we label it because it's like, we don't really understand that. But in reality, it's like, no, he's just a regular rapper. He's speaking and telling his story. So I think that because we're dealing with a lot of identity crisis in the black community, it does look cool to them. But piggybacking off what you said, starting out, maybe that was not the case.
And I will say this. I'm sorry. Jay just made me think of it. Great point, Jay. A lot of things that's glorified in rap music isn't necessarily a poverty thing. Gangs and drugs, I get it's in there. But if we did our research, there's a lot more gangs and drugs in areas that's not as impoverished as we think.
Mm-hmm.
But that gets sticky. I'm gonna leave it right there. So it is. But there's some really large gangs that have nothing to do with poverty. There's really large drug empires that have nothing to do with poverty. So it's kind of a thin line because we know about the epidemic, the crack epidemic way back when those things happened. But like, that wasn't a gang that dropped it off there. That wasn't a impoverished community that dropped that off there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to dig too deep into that. But the point I'm making is a lot of the things that's glorified isn't necessarily directly connected to poverty.
Okay.
Man,
I got so many thoughts. I'm just going to say this.
If Asia got to say them all, you got to say them all.
Absolutely.
So I'd be talking all night.
We got time.
As someone who grew up poor, right? I didn't like it when I was in there. I said, I've got to get the hell up out of here. I don't know what they
always said that. You always said that.
I'm ready to get out of here. But and I grew up resenting. The people around me because of the choices, because I realized it is a choice to live that way. After a certain point, obviously we were limited to things and access to resources, but after a while, there is information out there that you can go get to better yourself. And as I was climbing through the ranks and getting information and getting access and working in different industries to get that information, I remember I would try to go back and try to help people by giving them that same education I was getting in real time. They were rejected. Like, they were straight up rejected. And I'm like, but you do realize, like, this is a choice now, right? Because now you have the information and you think it's too hard to come out of it. But living this way is hard too. So you're literally choosing this hard over this hard, right? And now two things that I struggle with now that I didn't know or wouldn't think is now that I'm in rooms where I'm the only black man, right there. And I was literally telling this to my brother. What's really hard is that sometimes I feel, even though I may have the credentials, I don't have the same experiences, right? Because I'm experiencing these things as a first. Like, this is my first time. This is my first time talking about this. Or like the conversations I was alluding to earlier, like, I'm unsure if I'm saying the right thing, even though I may know I'm saying the right thing, but because I'm the only one that's doing it. When people ask me about my parents or my father, like, I can't have those same conversations. And I'm really glad for my wife because she can, so I can, I can rely on her, but now, like, I'm raising a son, and literally today he asked me for a Pooch Shiesty mask. I'm like, boy, what is wrong with you? I'm not buying you that. You get what I'm saying? I'm being real.
Hey, nephew, I got you, bro. I got you.
What color?
You gonna buy it for him?
What color?
I got you, nephew.
Send two of them.
But now it's like, but now it's like, okay, now I gotta fight it from this side to try to tell him, like, hey, this is how we operate. But then a part of me is like, well, do you even know? Do you really know how to operate? Because are you really teaching him the right thing? You get what I'm saying? Like, it wears on me mentally. I'm not gonna lie to you. It wears on me mentally. But what I can say I am appreciative of now is that the environments in which I place myself, like amongst you all, the conversations that we had, my friends, Keenan, Jay, my brother, like my kids have way more examples to pull from than I did. Mm-hmm. So they're going to grow up thinking that this type of life or this type of mentality, not even just a lifestyle, is the norm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Lewis, I'm going to tell you the saddest part about the Pooh Shiesty mask. No funny.
Yeah.
There's people that ride their bike to my job every day and have the same mask on and don't think twice about it.
Yep.
It's crazy. And I'm going to leave that there. But it's like, that's actually a normal thing that we got to think about that we shouldn't have to.
I told
under the context.
If you ever wear, I said, dude, if you ever get one, you can only wear it around me and your mom. Yeah. In environments where you cannot wear that when we're not around you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's real.
You know, so yeah, I think we've it's been synonymous with this, but I think we also got to do a better job of spotlighting people who are creating platforms. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure, right? And all the things that they're promoting. We have to do a better job of highlighting those things and being just as loud and supportive of those type of conversations, right? And freaking being comfortable talking about things that's going to get us ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, and this is really where we separate from all other, not just where we spend our money, right? But life insurance.
Oh yeah.
If you ever want to know about how well someone's, spent their money through their life in their lifetime, you'll know when they die. Because majority of my experiences, I got to keep it real. When someone's dying, we all trying to figure it out.
Yep.
Other races, they're coming into wealth. They're coming into things because of things that have been done. And I've had this conversation with no one wants to talk about it. Oh, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to think like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, so two things really quickly. I know we gotta get ready to transition. Yep. Hey, Lewis, I just want to say out loud, man, just because those conversations, it may be your first time or the experiences you don't share, you still belong there. You're doing a hell of a job at work. You're doing a hell of a job as a dad, as a person. So continue, it's your own battle, but hey, bro, you deserve to be there. Just so you know.
And I feel
the last thing I say, my dad having it. You say again?
Oh, I said, and I feel you, Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You too, Keenan.
But I don't want to get into that because we're gonna go left. But it's weirder, like not having the reference point of my upbringing than it is. You know what I'm saying? Like people will be having these conversations, and then I'm like, I can't say this in here. I'm the whole room gonna shut down if I say that because they looking at me like, oh. You got here without what?
Yes, that's my point.
I know, but I don't think. Anyway, I thank you. I get you. But the next point I was gonna make was, life. When I'm gonna say this to this point because my dad he owns a life insurance company. That is probably one, if not number one. If you struggle with student loans, you have debt. That's one of the biggest ways to set your kids up. And they may not have it tangibly while you're here when they're 18, but life insurance is one of the biggest ways. People don't think about paying it forward in that way.
Yep.
But everybody wasn't set up to have these Roth IRAs and all these different accounts in real estate to the point where generational wealth begins. However, it can begin with you when you transition instantly. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have the conversations with them and say like, this is what I got for you when I'm up out of here. Make sure you bing, bing, because everybody's life is different. And my pop, salute to my pops. As soon as my youngest popped out the womb, I was on the phone the next day. Hey, my man, let me get this, that, and the third. I need that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and send it over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I signed that before I signed a birth certificate.
I got a quick story. One of my grandfathers was he had the right intentions, had life insurance policies for my brother and I. When it came time to bury him, he had one to pay us. He didn't have one for himself. We had to sign it over so we could bury him.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like he had the right thought, but he didn't have the education to know that he needed one for himself. So the benefit he thought he was giving, we didn't get.
Yeah.
Quit laughing, man. That's my grandpa. I was just playing. But
I had to stop telling my wife them jokes like, oh nah. You better take that joint account, leave me alone.
But listen, those are conversations we have to get better at having and not stop being afraid of. Life insurance policies are monthly. You can pay a monthly. It could be less than $50.
But I think it starts there, Lewis. You said it just now, and I was going to say it. First of all, shout out to y'all for even bringing that up, because it starts with awareness. I think a lot of people genuinely, it's not that they don't want to, it's not that they don't know how, they just are uncomfortable or have a fear of death. And just having that conversation is where it begins. So as soon as I feel like people start breaking down that stigma around that conversation in general, then it's smooth sailing from there. But we gotta start somewhere, and awareness is where it's at. So shout out to y'all for doing that.
That's right.
And also shift your mindset, because you can have all the information in the world, like how you said, Lewis. Once someone gives you the information, it's a mindset thing of what you do with it.
Facts. Good point, Princess.
Hey, you know another thing too. I'm glad you said that, Princess. It made me think of something. We also have to be aware in our community that when people are giving out that information, some people may not know how to apply that information to their life. So we have to make sure we educate them on how to apply it too. You can tell them, hey, you need to get a Roth IRA account, like Keenan said earlier, right? But if they don't know where to go, how to start it, I think we always stop and we don't elaborate enough. So we need to incorporate that more in the community too.
But it also comes back like, oh, go ahead, Asia.
But they learn how to make crack though. No one gives them.
Oh man!
All right. You were doing so good.
Lewis is tired.
I was trying to hold that in.
What?
They don't get the recipe. They figure that out somehow. So.
Oh my god! What I was going to say was, once you give the person that information, like Jay, when you give it all of it, the way that you do it, all that, again, it still always boils down to the mindset. Because just like Lewis said, like life insurance policies, it could be $25 a month, however much. People be like, well, I don't got that. Yeah. Yes, you do, because you was just in the liquor store.
Yep.
You was just buying weed. Yes, you do. It's all about your mindset and what you want to spend that money on.
Hey, let me tell you a story real quick. Let me tell you how you made me feel small as a financial person one time, Lewis. Can I tell it? You know what I'm about to say?
Go ahead.
So one day we talking. This was in my youthful years. We were talking about like credit cards and stuff when I got out of college. Yeah. I like, yeah, man, I maxed that joint out when I was younger. He was like, ha ha ha. What they give your stupid ass? $20,000 limit? I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh, this stupid. I'm like, what, bro? But my next question was, what? How would you eliminate that though? And then he gave me the game on how to do the next step, and I was like, stop. Oh. So then I ain't gonna get too far in that part, but the point I'm making is asking questions too, Princess. You got to be willing to ask questions and not be scared to look stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be able to ask questions. So mindset first and ask questions. Ask questions.
And I also think, real quick, like I think we have to know who to ask questions to, and I think that's also a big part, because we're in a time where it's so much saturation. Like the knowledge is good, but it's like everybody's talking about, like, for instance, even with life insurance, people are talking about it, but in a way of it, like, okay, and you can get rich like this, because you can borrow from it. And so now people, they're looking for one particular way of doing things, not looking at the full scope, right? And therefore, sometimes people, they're like, well, now I don't even know what to ask. I don't know what to ask. I don't know who to ask. And then, right? And then I think also, to Princess, your point about the mindset, we love a good trend. No matter who you are, what you are, all the things, you love a good trend. Even thinking about MySpace days, we all became coders. We all knew how to code. We all, when it came down to LimeWire, somehow all of us figured it out, how to download music through LimeWire, right? And so like but we all wanted to be a part of it, right? It was like, I was not going to be the one that did not have a specialized background and a playlist on my MySpace. You know what I'm saying? So I think the more that we have these conversations, to Britt's point, and the more that we're actually doing it and implementing it, then it becomes like oh wait, so y'all really doing this thing. Like, you're not just having the conversations. Okay, so now, so this is it. So we really do this. Yes, we really do this. And then it becomes a trust factor, right? For folks to then trust, okay, these are the folks that we can go to when we do have questions, because they've done it. So I think it takes having conversations like this, but also doing it too.
That applies to every. You got to find someone who you can trust to ask those questions to, and apply that information that you get. I mean, that all ties right back into it.
And let them judge you. Let them judge you as long as you're getting what you need from it to better yourself. It's okay. I'm serious, man.
That's true, though.
See, like, let them judge. If you getting the information you need to move forward, hey, bro, I'm where I'm at. Tell me. I'm trying to get from here.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because this last topic is about to wrap this right on up. This conversation is just
for sure.
This was like perfect.
I'm sorry, wrong one.
Boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. I keep my boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. And no, I don't give a. I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open a door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night. This alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing.
Right.
You can have all the celebrity in the world, jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
Hold up.
Well, what you saying there, boy? I got to be quiet. I feel about like Lewis, man. I'm gonna wait. I got too much to say.
I love that. I think I love that. Asia, I got to put you on the spot. My wife and I were talking the other night. I took this from you, Kenan. We were talking about things that we like about one another. And she said, you know, Lewis, she was like, you're a real man. And Asia gave me one of the best compliments that I've ever received when we were in DC. You were like, you know, it comes through authentic. Like you really are. You could tell that you're a provider. You could tell you care about your family. You could tell you're no nonsense. Like you are a real man. And for me, that's important because again, like talking about our previous conversations, I didn't have that everyday example to pull from. I had a lot of examples to pull from, but I didn't have that everyday example. So I'm trying to figure out what that looks like successfully, constantly, right? And as a man who has a son as well, it's really important for me to be that. Everything that I've done, even down to the businesses that I opened, like it's really about them. It's really about me being a better man and the best man I can be, not only in society and for the world, but for them. So I think as a man, that is a true reward for people to really see you as that. Now, the world's definition of it is changing and it constantly evolving. I'll say some positive things. We are allowed to be able to have emotion that in ways we didn't before, but I do feel like some of that has been stripped from us. But I take pride in that when people see me as such, especially women. It holds a different value.
That was good.
It was good.
Man, me? Oh.
Kenan, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Kenan.
Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, because nobody else will jump into it. So go ahead.
Go ahead, Shiesty.
So I try to give my friends great jobs of like all the dad and stuff they doing, but I could really relate. I'm a father of 2 boys. I don't have a daughter. I don't plan on having any more kids, so we're gonna leave it there, right? I think I'm in full agreement with that. Like I'm raising them to be that way. Because I feel like if you teach kids the way to think and how to maneuver, they can figure out the rest. I think we spend a lot of time on giving them stuff that they don't necessarily know the value of or how to maneuver and think is going to cause them to be appreciative or critically think or have morals and have values. But nah, dog, you teach them that first and they'll understand the value of those other things. I start the ground up. I don't want to get into the masculinity conversation, but I'm going to be real with you. I said it last Monday. I ain't scared to whoop nobody's ass if they doing wrong. I'm also not afraid to stand up for you when you're doing right. And I'm also always going to be here to right my wrong, no matter what it is. Take it or leave it. Because I think the problem is a lot of people say that, or a lot of dads say that, but I'm a dad that's going to deal with the consequences of my decisions, good or bad. So if I do something and it affects you and it may put you on a path, I'm going to be there to get you off of it too. Because I'm also going to show you what you do when you mess up. I just think now we too sensitive around kids, dog. No.
Yeah.
And I tell this to my friends all the time. I see what y'all kids do when they're away from you. I'm telling you, being in the schools, I see it every day. I'm like, all right, bro. I hear kids say, oh, hey, call my dad, bro. I'm going to get over on him. Call him. Call my dad. What?
Yeah.
I wish my son would even think to say that out loud. But I'm saying all these things to say, raise your kids on morals and values that's sustainable through any situation. Like if you have integrity, you're going to have that regardless of the situation. You know what I'm saying? If you have accountability, if you have honesty, regardless of the situation, they're going to move that way.
And
that's good.
And that was good. And as I'm listening to you all, this is the first group of males that actually have it together. But from a woman's perspective, right, ladies, y'all got to stop interfering when a man is doing his job. And I say this because I've seen it so many times where women just feel the need of, oh no, but you can't. We're okay, we get it. We're nurturers, okay, whatever. I've had my moments too. I have 2 boys as well, where I'm like, okay, Mike, tone down. All right, that was a little rough. And he's looking at me like, you gonna let me? Because when he get out in the real world, it ain't gonna be, mommy's not gonna be there, right? So respectfully, I have learned to take a step back. And yes, I'm a nurturer. Asia, I know you know this. We did it. We did a show one time, Vince's. I will never ever forget this, with Denzel Washington, and he was like, I don't have to like you. I don't have to like you, to his son. And the mom came in and all this, oh, but you're talking to him rough. And I argued this dude down on this podcast about tough love, and but he didn't have to say it like that, like, what do you mean he didn't have to? I argued him down, and it wasn't until I had my sons that I actually viewed it from a different side of things, not from a woman's side, but actually seeing a man step into his role as a father, a real man, quote unquote, and raise his sons in the way that he deems necessary to survive in this crazy world we have going on. I have to agree with you, Keenan, that parents in general are too sensitive nowadays, and these kids are getting away with any and everything. They're causing more harms to themselves than they even listen. I'm gonna share this really quick because it came to mind as I'm talking. There was this lady who posted today a video. She had 3 sons, and she was like, I'm doing my thing because the dad didn't want to do his thing. And she's literally like walking away, that bum, 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 that and she starts twerking and walking away. And then her 3 sons are behind her twerking and walking away too. And I'm like, hold on. That's a little, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And it was like, oh, you're excited about the lack of a father figure in your children's life, when really and truly that's going to harm them in the long run. Whatever they decide to do in their future is on them, but you're enabling that behavior because you're not allowing dad to kind of step in and play his role. I wholeheartedly believe roles come into play, specifically when it comes to children and women and their daughters and men and their sons. It's totally let them do their thing because it comes from a different point of view. And if you have to cross over, be that nurture. And if daddy's little girl, be that for that little segment, but let the men have their sons and let the women have their daughter and let them do their thing, because it's only going to help them in the long run. I
want to quickly acknowledge, Brittany, that was a great point, but I will say this: only having one gender, that's boys for me, makes that's a harder dynamic between me and my wife, because she doesn't have a person to make me step out of the way of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like it's always because it's not always right, because there are things that they need to learn from her that they will. But like we had our first, hey, Britt, take the little one, go to the car. It's me and my oldest right now. Go ahead and go to the car. We had our first one 2 Wednesdays ago. And when I walked out of the rec center, she looked at me, I looked at her, and she's like, Kaden, come on. Thank you. Because he about to catch this heat. Now it was a conversation, but the point I was making, no, for real, it was, but like I respected the fact that like she know what, when we walked out, she knew like, come on.
Yep.
I ain't even about to, but it gets hard. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm sorry.
Can I just say something? Oh, go ahead, Princess.
You sure? Okay. I was just gonna say that like I love everything that everyone says so far is great, and I just feel like it's not enough of that anymore. Like Keenan, to your point about like you work with them every day, like I just feel like going back to the basics. Like I love the fact that he said like I'm raising men. Like when I leave the house, he tells his 15-year-old like you're the man of the house. You know, you make sure your mom's okay. Like I just feel like it's not enough of that anymore. You know, they're like these young men, they don't open the door for women. You know, their mom go pump gas and the mom is at the pump and they sitting there twiddling their thumbs on their phone because there's no one there to say, hey, no, this is what you do as a man to show up and, you know, be the protector of the family and of the household. I feel like it's so much just leeway of just like, oh, like it's just gentle. Everything is gentle all the way around. And I feel like that's only beneficial to a certain point because we're missing out on some key characteristics and that they need in their upbringing. Like everything is just so like, oh, they don't know. They don't have to. Oh no, he doesn't have to go cut the grass. Oh no, he doesn't have to take out the trash. Like, no, he needs to learn how to take care of a household because he'll have his own one day. But everything is just so gentle. And then my second point is, I was a little thrown off, I'm sorry, about the part where he's like, my kids are humble. My sons have never owned a pair of J's.
Chill out.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Because Jordan's like, with the amount of money that this man has, Jordan's like, we're not talking about, oh, you raising them. Their first pair of sneakers is Balenciaga or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordans are like $100 and something, whatever, depending on what pair, whatever. Come on now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
facts though. I'm with you on that.
That is exactly your 15-year-old is in high school with what? Some
Starberries.
Like, yeah, like
Starberries.
Now that was the only part from what he said that threw me off. It's like I get it, but I don't, because you can still raise humble children without, in my opinion, making them suffer whenever you have it. Yeah, I agree with that.
I promise
because
you.
They're talking about your son in high school. He's in high school and wearing Starberries.
Right.
Like. That's why I had that on the tip of my tongue, because Princess, I was really sitting here thinking the same thing. I'm like, I agree with what everybody is saying. The only thing that I would have questions about is why does not having Jordans equate to being humble? Because for me, it was one of those, are you saying because it's like it's a culture thing? Because everybody's wearing Jordans? Is it for him the equivalent of having like the Pooh Shiesty mask? You know what I'm saying? Like I would want to know, what are they wearing? Penny loafers? Like what is it exactly?
And
you know,
projection
for real.
I think that's his projection. I think that's a projection for him because the era he grew up in, Jordans were Balenciagas.
Right.
So I think it's more of a projection for him.
But these kids in high school in Gucci.
That's crazy.
What is happening?
But I didn't know what Gucci was. Well, I didn't know what Gucci was in high school, but I never.
We had Gucci, man. We had them Gucci sweaters.
I knew I was never gonna touch any Gucci in high school, but now, like these kids, that's the expectation.
Because they see it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're not gonna let your sons get Jordans?
That's
I'm with Princess on that one.
Yeah, that is
because I think the humility comes in. I think the lesson in humility comes in knowing you have it, but it was a privilege too, versus that you can't have it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He might be trying to teach his son how to fight, sending him to school with Starberry.
No, man.
he might be trying to teach you how to fight. How your daddy Captain America? You got them stars on, my boy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He might be trying to. Like, bro, you gotta learn.
Like, what is your family wearing to the premieres? Like,
yeah, I'm gonna go back and look at their red carpet shoes, and if I see a star over there, bro, we got another thing to talk about on the show. I promise you, that's embarrassing, man. Captain America talk about he can't wear Jordan. Stop it, man.
Yeah,
come on, Doc. Yeah, great point.
But real quick,
good stuff, y'all.
Yeah, real quick. Let me add to the clip though. First of all, I'm glad we saw the whole clip because originally I just saw a clickbait, and obviously they tried to make him look bad as far as like, oh, like they didn't show the part where he said my son's gonna be respectful. They're gonna, take care. They, of course. So I'm glad that we finally saw the whole clip. I have 2 daughters. For the people out there that don't know, and obviously I'm not raising them to be men. I'm raising them to understand what a man what to expect from a man. You get what I'm saying? So my approach is a little bit different. Yes, co-parent well, and I don't like to discipline my daughters as much, as I would if I had a son. But honestly, just having those tough conversations with them and still disciplining them, and also going back and apologizing when I'm wrong. That's very big because it's showing the girls that, hey, it's okay to have a issue, and for a man to come back and say, you know what, baby girl, I'm sorry. For them to hear that and understand that it's okay, and they need to receive that healthy, that healthy dynamic. And real quick, I'm gonna tell y'all a proud dad moment. So I got off work one day. This was last Thursday, and Mackenzie, my youngest, wanted to ride to the store with me, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I got out the car, and then when I got out the car, she was still sitting in the back seat.
That's right.
I'm like, what you doing? So then
open
when
that door.
I'm like, are you not gonna open my door?
Exactly. That's right.
I was like,
period.
And then you're not gonna grab my hand. She was like, well, you used to always do it. So it made me think, like, man, those times that I was doing those things, I didn't even realize that she was really stoking expectations for guys now. So it made me feel good.
And she's gonna do that when she's dating. I promise you, she will.
She won't settle for less. Yep.
Yeah.
It made me feel good though. I ain't gonna lie. I was confused at first. I was like, "What the hell are you doing back there in the back seat? We going to
Get your ass out of the car.
We going to food.
That's beautiful, man.
We're going to taco kit. You better get your ass out the car."
Yo, is that hey Jay? What's the teaching there, sir? Teaching there, sir.
I thought her not to be like. That's why I ain't say it.
Yeah. What's up? That was good, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. We good?
Yep.
That's it, man. Great show.
Hey, man. So we not gonna tap into a fair or foul tonight. We appreciate everybody tapping in with us, man. Hey, look, Lewis and Princess, hell of a job on the topics. Appreciate everybody tapping in with us, man. It's your boy K. Mims. I got the ladies of the show, Brittany, Princess, and Asia. My bro Louis B, DJ J Dub. We are the Monday Night Crew, and we are out.